Hey guys, 61 Shadow, welcome to week 3 of the Pokemon Draft League, Season 2. Now last week we got the forfeit win, so there was no battle. However, this week we do have a battle. We face my good friend Will from the San Antonio Sparce, so as you see from his team there, he has the Clefable, Hoopa Unbound, Lander Visterion, Entei, Politoed, Swampert, well, Mega Swampert, and regular Swampert, Magneton, Golbat, both forms of Glalie, Dusclops, Dunsparce, and Ninjask. So let's see, the team I have, the first mon I brought was Suicune, typical Krookodiles, Scald, Calm Mind, Rest, Sleep Talk with leftovers, max defense, summon special defense, and almost max HP, pretty standard. Then next up is the Gardevoir, Scarfed with Trace, packing Moonblast, Psychic, Focus Blast, and Trick with max special attack, max speed, timid, and some special defense. So now, the strategy with this thing, because Rain Dance Swampert was obviously something that could Rain Dance Mega Swampert was obviously something that can come with Swift Swim. So if that were to happen, I could come in with this thing and trace Swift Swim, and along with the Scarf, see 284 speed if you multiplied by 2. I believe Swift Swim doubles the speed, so that'd be like 400 something, and then the Choice Scarf boost, that would make me faster than pretty much his entire team. And Gardevoir being Gardevoir hits hard, so that would definitely be something pretty good for the team. Plus, especially defensive. So if you want to, I remember, you'll see why especially defensive is good. I don't want to give anything away from the battle, but of course, Moonblast to counter some of, like, for example, Hoopa Unbound. It's definitely a counter Hoopa Unbound for well, actually that's it, because it doesn't have anything else that's weak to Moonblast. But I have the Psychic for the Golbat. Wow, that's it. I'm trying to do this, trying to say what counters, and there's actually not that much counters. It's the Focus Blast, of course, the fighting coverage to deal with things like what to get Hoopa Unbound. I think Hoopa Unbound is weak to fight. It should be Hoopa Unbound, Magneton, Glalie, and Dunsparce. And then Trick, because wait, hold on, I'm trying to remember what the Trick was for. Trick definitely had a purpose in this battle. It was to trick the Clefable if his Clefable was to get out of hand with, like, setting up Calm Minds and stuff, which would force it to switch because it would have a Choice Scarf. So this is a good strategy to 2 very possible sets coming into the game. So then that's pretty much all for Gardevoir. Then our next mon is Tyranitar, holding the Chople Berry to have the damage taken from super effective fighting type attack. I have Sandstream on it as usual. With Tyranitar, it has Stealth Rock, Rock Slide, Ice Beam, and Thunder Wave. Stealth Rock, of course, to set up, and then Rock Slide to have coverage to things such as possibly to flinch some things, like to try to flinch Clefable, flinch Clefable and some other things, but also Rock Slide to deal with Entei and Golbat and Glalie and Ninjask. Then Ice Beam is definitely good because it can deal with the Lando T as it is special, so it can definitely deal with that well. It also deals with the Golbat and the Ninjask pretty well. And of course, Thunder Wave for speed control to make sure that some of his faster mons like Hoopa Unbound and Lando T. Well, actually, no, not Lando T, because it's Ice type. Caught myself on that. But like Hoopa Unbound, those faster threats are slower. Then next I have Excadrill running a bit bulkier Assault Vest Sandrush with Earthquake, Iron Head, Rock Slide, and Rapid Spin. The Earthquakes, which seems pretty standard spinner. Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards, which he does not set. I do not believe. But let's see, what hazards could he have brought? He could have had actually it wasn't really that much for him to set hazards with, so. But it's just there just to be there in case he brought something with hazards on something else. So then the typical Earthquake, Ironhead, Rock Slide for coverage for those types. And then we have the Mega Charizard Y, typical Drought with Fire Blast, Solar Beam, Ancient Power, and Roost. Now the Fire Blast, of course, is for coverage on, for example, the Magneton, the Ninjask, and actually that's it. Okay, and for Solar Beam definitely helps against the Politoed, the Swamp, and the Swampert. And Ancient Power was good for the Entei because based on this team, his only, well, other than Mega Swampert, his only Swampert, his only switch in is to my Charizard is Entei, and I can deal with both of them because if I have Sun up, and he doesn't set up Rain yet, I could just one turn Solar Beam him, and then if what is it oh yeah, and I definitely outspeed him, so I would be able to Solar Beam before he sets up Rain. So then for the Entei, I'd be able to Ancient Power, and if I got the boost, that would be a really good thing for me, seeing as Charizard's stats are pretty good. And then our last mon on the team, we have the Assault Vest Conkeldurr with Guts, with typical, it's a standard set, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Poison Jab, and Knockoff. But the EV spreads are a bit different though. We have a decent amount of special defense investment, a good amount of HP investment, and max attack, and it's running Adamant. That's pretty much all I have to say about that thing. So now we're gonna, well, that was actually a really fast team. There's pretty much a fast team go through because it was there were quite a few standard sets on this, so it definitely could. So it's definitely something good to have. So it's not always something good to have standard sets, but they worked for this match, some of them at least. So let's get on to the battle now. As you see on this, Will brought the Dunsparce, the Ninjask, the Entei, the Clefable, the Swampert, and the Hoopa Unbound. So my thought process here was like, all right, I'm gonna lead with Tyranitar because I can get either a Thunder Wave or a Stealth Rocks off him before. So I did not play as well as I very well could have. Like you'll see a misplay here. So I'm gonna start the battle here. I lead with the Tyranitar, and he leads with the Hoopa Unbound. So instead of Thunder Waving, I decided he Drain Punches me, which reveals the Chople Berry. I should have Thunder Waved here, but I decided to go for the Stealth Rocks, which did in fact help me later on. So it wasn't immediate, but it helped me. I could have Thunder Waved then Stealth Rock, but it didn't. I didn't really do it. So I went to Suicune here. He goes for the Drain Punch, which doesn't do that much to Suicune. Then here he decides to switch into Ninjask, and now because I want to get the burn on this thing, I decided to go for the Scald. However, he does switch into Ninjask and gets HP half by Rocks, which takes out the Ninjask, so it's already a kill on my side. So now here, he's going to switch into the Clefable. The Clefable is going to... I'm going to switch into Excadrill, while the Clefable starts to do Cosmic Power. And then here, he's going to switch into the Swampert to take this Iron Head that's coming for him. Once again, I probably could have predicted it with something, but I didn't. Like maybe going into Zard and going for Solar Beam or something along those lines, but he takes that well. I switch into the Suicune. He Mega Evolves right here. He goes for the Scald, probably trying to burn me or something. Actually, no, okay, I switch. He wanted to Scald the Excadrill, but I switch his Suicune. He doesn't get the burn, so I set up a Calm Mind. He tries to go for the Ancient Power boost here, which he did tell me this team was not entirely serious. Like he brought Ancient Power on Swampert, which is pretty interesting. So then I Scald him here. I get the burn, and it's amazing. It's amazing because he's not unaware. I mean, he's unaware and not what is it? Not Magic Guard. So I'm able to take him out, and I was able to crit him. That crit did matter because the Scald did 23%, and then it did 34 with the crit. Then I Scald then he comes into the Dunsparce here. I Scald the Dunsparce. He goes for the Bison to get the Para. That would have been really hacksy if he did not get the Para because it's a 60% chance. But then he starts flinching me here with the Rock Slides. This was kind of annoying. I was like, alright, it's not doing that much, so it's not too annoying at first. But then it kept racking on. I was like, alright, I gotta break from this at some point. But then at one turn he decides to go for the Pursuit. Yes, he goes for the Pursuit right here because I thought I was gonna switch, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna switch because I'm not that low. So then I get the Scald off and I burn him. And then what does he do here? Oh yeah, he goes for the earthquake. I get parried, and then he goes for another earthquake. I get parried again. So that takes out the Dunsparce by burn. So that's good for me. And so while we wait for that, then I believe after this he switches into the Swampert or the Hoopa. Oh yeah, he switches into the Hoopa. And of course I played badly here because Hoopa was the only thing on his team that could break the Suicune, so I should have switched right here and gone into something that could have been maybe like the Tyranitar, because then he would have no item. That may have been a better thing for me, but I stayed in with this thing. So then I Scald the Hoopa because I locked myself into Scald. Doesn't get the burn, and then I get a crit here. The crit well, I haven't done the calc yet, but the crit definitely could have mattered there because the first hyperspace at 32%. I mean, not the crit. The crit didn't matter, but the roll could have mattered. So if he didn't get a crit, so then he goes into so then I go into Extra Drill. He goes into the Swampert once again with the same Iron Head play. Goes into Conkeldurr. Then I go into Conkeldurr to try to get burned, but instead of going for Drain Punch like I should have, I went for Poison Jab. I do get the poison though, which is good. Then and then he goes for the Earth Power, knocking me out. And then go into the Charizard. And now here I know I'm going to knock him out because I outspeed, so I go for the Ancient Power, seeing if I'll get the boost, and I do not get the boost. I get the crit there, which is pretty funny. I get amused by that, and then he goes into the Entei here. Turns out he's Assault Vest Entei, so I'm going for the Ancient Powers. It's actually not doing that much. And he misses the Stone Edge here, which is pretty crucial, so I was like, alright, hopefully I can possibly crit knock him out here, but I don't crit knock him out, and I don't get the boost either, so he knocks me out with the Stone Edge. And then from right here, because of my Scarf Gardevoir, I proceed to go in and two hit. I cannot two hit. Basically, click Moonblast twice, and I win. Because with the Hoopa strict into having leftovers, I know I outspeed, and that gives me a 3-0 victory against Will. So that's gonna be it for this battle. I did pretty good on that. Thank you all for watching. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you all next time.